Thanks for the support as a channel member, Kieran Hodgkinson. Here we go then, boys and girls. We have hit the big time. I, Kevin Chapman, aka LOLLUJO, am the new manager of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. That's the same Tottenham that was this close to winning the Premier League last season. It's the same Tottenham that provided almost all the players for the England squad I've just taken to the World Cup. That's right, if you're new, I'm already the England manager. We've just been to the World Cup and we're going to assume it went well. All of which means, of course, having left Barnsley, I now need to find a new house. And for anyone not familiar with the geography of England, here's your confirmation that I definitely do need to be moving house, because nobody wants to spend 3 hours and 26 minutes each way every day driving up and down the M1. It's not a very pleasant road to drive on. There we are up in Barnsley in our lovely mansion. If you want to see the mansion, you need to go back and watch part 1 of the Barnsley section of this series. And here's that. I mean, the closest thing I could find on Google Maps, the Tottenham Hotspur store, which I assume is near the ground. Probably. As usual, I've taken my salary and gone to the Halifax mortgage calculator to work out just how much I can buy a property for. But of course, I'm now earning £153,000 a week at Tottenham, plus my £73,000 a week England job salary. That means I'm earning like £11.5–12 million a year, which is actually more than the Halifax mortgage calculator lets you put in. It maxes out at £9,999,999. Apparently, you're not allowed to earn more than that if you're living in the world of Halifax, which means I can borrow up to £47.5 million. Realistically, we could probably buy for up to 50 million because of the extra money that we're earning. And if we have a look at properties for sale in London and sort them by most expensive, you'll see that this one, price on application, unless you're in Knight Frank, and then you get the same house and you find out it's £40 million. It's the most expensive house currently for sale in London. So, of course, it's where we're going to live. This house is so expensive that their floor plan starts with a map of the grounds. There's my private tennis court. There's my wet area. We can have a look. I mean, it's a curvy house. I'm a big fan of a curvy house. What is that? I thought that was a cinema. It's not. I think it's a swimming pool. That's less interesting. Look at all these cars. Cars might be the new measure of wealth. It was previously chairs, but we might have to start worrying about cars. Look at the state of this house. This is what, £40 million buys for. Oh, my word. Look at the number of chairs in that room. That's a table that supports 16 chairs. That is... Oh, there's the other angle of it. Hold on. They know how to sell a house to me. If my mind wasn't already made up. He's got a lift. Oh, there's those chairs again. 3 shots of the same chairs. I'm telling you, it's the mark of a wealthy person. An aerial view of the chairs. Look at them. That's 4 different shots of the chairs. There's another chair for the piano. Stairs. More chairs. Outside. Wooden bit. More chairs. Wet bit. Snookery, pooly bit. And if you want to sit on a sofa, lift weights and play pool, this is the room for you. A chair you can sit on to look at the swimming pool. I guess that's some kind of steam room. I'll figure it out when I move in. Wavy bushes. Boys and girls, we have made it. If you're as excited as I am about how this job at Tottenham is going to go, look at all the chairs, then please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on this video. As ever with these part 1s, if we can get a whole bunch of likes, it really does help support the series, support the channel. So if we could get to 3,000 likes on this video, that would be utterly sensational. Roll the new intro. Hello and welcome to Club 4, Part 1 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we are going to get our feet firmly under the table at new club Tottenham Hotspur. And from what I remember from the interview, we have a lot of money to spend, so we might get stuck into spending some of that as well. We'll see how long it takes to find our way around the club. We might end up doing the transfers tomorrow, maybe. But here is the confirmation that I am the new Spurs manager in a move which is to spark plenty of heated debate. Kevin Chapman has left Barnsley to join divisional rivals Tottenham. Questions will be raised as to why Chapman made the decision to jump to a different job. I mean, did we not see the house? But but he'll face pressure to bring immediate success to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, given his former employers and previous standing. Barnsley were looking for a new manager. Barnsley, we paid £5 million in compensation for Chapman. That might be the highest fee I've ever gone for. Chapman has brought Matt Harrold to Tottenham with him. Matt Harrold, who I originally gave his first coaching job way back at Kingsley, and he's coming with me on the journey, boys and girls. Chapman's also reshuffled the backroom staff with Grant Downey moving into a new role. I think I did that accidentally in yesterday's episode. Go and check out. I think we had 2 head physios and I accidentally moved one. I don't know if I moved the right one. Chapman, 43, has accumulated 7 years of experience with the likes of Barnsley and Bristol Rovers. No mention of Kings Lynn. Gutted. Chapman has earned himself a reputation for refusing to sign players over the age of 30. That's fair, and appears to be a great fit for the club's current vision at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Chapman, who famously knocked Watford out of the FA Cup in 2023, is that really what I'm famous for? Will no doubt be hoping to provide similarly memorable moments in stepping up to a bigger club. Spurs fans, are you excited that I might be able to knock Tottenham out of the FA Cup? Knock Watford out of the FA Cup, even. We're Tottenham. Oh, we're probably going to knock Tottenham out of the FA Cup as well. So here's your confirmation. Media prediction, of course, is 5th because it's Spurs. Last season finished 2nd. Good old Matt Howard is in. We need a director of football. I love a director of football. When was the last time Spurs won anything worth winning? Oh, well, they won the Champions League in 2020. Wow, okay. I can't mock Spurs anymore, especially now I'm the manager. Won the Champions League in 2020. Haven't won the Premier or the First Division, I guess, since 1961. That is a long wait. Can you imagine a club winning the Champions League that hasn't won their domestic league in, 60 years? More than 60 years? Things have got to change here, I suppose. We've got to win the Premier League with Tottenham. That is a ridiculous statistic for this football club. And this is our team. Now, we're going to recognise a lot of them because so many of them were in my World Cup squad. Oh, look at that. James Maddison in a deep midfield role. What kind of idiot would play him there? So Pickford was in my England squad. Sessegnon was in my England squad. Fotheringham was in my England squad and I played him in midfield. Apparently he's a defender. Who knew? I don't know who he is. These aren't English. He's not English. But Maddison was in my England squad. If you haven't watched the England series, you're missing out because we know all these players already. I mean, you'll know most of them from real life. Dele Alli, we know from England. Gibbs White, we know from England. Hudson-Odoi, we know from England. And Harry Kane, we know from England. Of course, the one player missing is Keith Crown, who came through the Spurs youth system, was in the England squad at the World Cup, but has just gone to Manchester United for like £125 million before I arrived, which is a little bit of a frustration. I would have liked to have the option to decide whether or not to sell him, but apparently not. This is what we need to do here at Spurs. Play attacking football, sign English players, and basically we're looking for young English players. It's like Barnsley again, but on a grander scale. What a way to describe Tottenham. It's like Barnsley, but a bit bigger. They've got the best youth system in the country, as shown by the likes of Keith Crown coming through. They want to increase commercial revenue, keep developing young players. But this season, we're looking for a Champions League quarter-final and a Premier League finish that qualifies us for the Champions League again next year. So nothing too stressful this year. Hopefully, if we can't achieve that, I deserve to be fired. Next year, they're looking for some kind of silverware, could be the EFL Cup, and a challenge for the Premier League title. And we need to be winning the Premier League within 3 years, which is also when my contract expires. All of that feels pretty doable to me. Yes, I want to schedule a press conference. Yes, I want all that stuff. Do all that. And here we are. Chapman takes Tottenham hot seat. Tottenham Hotspur hot seat. Right, review on what's this? What's happening here? Are we trying to buy him or sell him? Who is he? We're trying to sell him. Get rid of him. He's obviously not good enough. Yeah, get rid of him. He can go. That's fine. Players in last year of contract. Harry Kane probably needs a new contract. Yes, he's 32, but I've heard he's quite a good striker and he's probably got some goals in him. So first order of business will be offer Harry Kane a new contract. We'll do that in a minute. Troy Parrott is supposed to be quite good, isn't he? Why isn't he in this team? What's happened there? He's supposed to be the next big thing at Spurs, isn't he? What's the deal, Troy Parrott? We might need to try and make something out of him. Everyone else is just youngsters that we won't have heard of. season expectations, we're £164 million to spend is ridiculous. Players currently unhappy at the club. I forgot Harry Winks was here. He was in my World Cup squad too, but he was out on loan. I forgot about him there as well. He spent the season on loan at Fiorentina last year. And, I mean, to be fair, as sixth choice central midfielder, I can understand why he's unhappy, and he probably needs to move on. Is that the Catamol that was in the Columbia? Oh, one of the enemies here. He was one of the players who got us knocked out of the World Cup. Grrr. The most Colombian name in the world. And this guy wants a new contract. We can deal with all of these in a moment, I think. Social feed, that's fine. Oh, I agree, I'm a fantastic choice. And let's go and have a proper look around the squad. So, if we sort by ability, best player, James Maddison, who is now 29 years old, only played 12 times for England. Whoever the England manager is probably needs to try and get a little bit more out of James Maddison. He's dreading that I'm here. Oh, no, not this guy. Well, I'm the best player at the club, and this guy turns up. Harry Kane, joint best player, but not under contract. I don't understand that. I know he's 32, which I also know means I'm usually ready to move players on. But all the same, it's Harry Kane. He probably needs a new deal. Is there a reason he's not getting one? Yes, you'll carry on being a star player. You want a lot of money, Harry. I mean, this is. I guess it's going to be your last big contract. If we're giving you 2 years at this age, let's try and push you down a little bit to what you're earning now. You happy with that? No, let's knock you a bit. I mean, you can have a small pay rise. Small, but there we go. That'll do. I can live with that. Harry Kane tied down for 2 more years. And then all those familiar names. You know, it's a big squad. It feels like a really big squad. And there's a lot of young English players. Well, not young. I guess they're young English players in reality. In game, it's like a collection of the young, good English players at the start. But one thing I am noticing is they don't seem to be looking at what am I trying to find? I don't want that, but just let me put a no, not that. Oh, that will do for now. I just want a 4-2-3-1 on so that I can look at the squad depth like this with that on there. So, yeah, it seems like the one thing they've not really done is brought in much in the way of young talent that's actually in the game. I guess Fotheringham would be one of those coming in from Birmingham. So, yeah, they've brought him in. David Kidd, this is where they've brought loads in, haven't they? David Kidd, who has also played for England. He came through the youth system. So there are a few. He came in from Ajax. Okay. I'll accept that, okay, there is some building for the future. How is Ryan Sessegnon still only 26? How is Hudson-Odoi still only 25? Is he like 11 in real life? That's £92 million to bring him in. Okay, let's have a look at that squad depth again and see what we need to be doing to this team. So, squad depth. Up front, I think we probably do need a second striker. I think missing Crown. Crown needs replacing. Kane's 32. Parrott is untried, and everyone else there is a midfielder. So I think we need to go out and find the best young English striker. It's a shame we've just sold him to Manchester United. Maddison, best player everywhere across the attacking midfield. Sessegnon in there as well. I mean, we are solid for these positions. We're all right. We don't need to sign any attacking midfielders. Watch me sign 3. Central midfield. We could perhaps do with one more in there because actually, if you look at what we've got, he's going to be an attacking midfielder. He's an attacking midfielder. He's old and past it. So we probably need another central midfielder. At the back, we look solid. I mean, Fotheringham's just played a World Cup in midfield. I wish I'd have known he was a proper centre-back. I mean, he's natural at both. Where does he normally play for Spurs? Oh, I can't see that. Of course I can't. I'm going to be upset if it turns out. If he ends up my star centre-back, what was I doing with England playing him in midfield? Is what everyone was asking all the way through the World Cup, probably. Still got another one of the enemies from the quarter-final. He's still knocking around. I think we probably need another body in here. Pickford, I've fallen out with. I mean, he's 32. There's a few areas that need refreshing because players are getting old, like Maddison, Ali. They're all getting on a little bit. Dele Alli's 30, Maddison's 29, Kane's 32. So I think we just need to go out there and buy the best young talent in England. So I'm going to go and do that now. and show you what I find. You've already had a transfer window this summer with Barnsley, so it probably won't be a full-on transfer special, but I'm going to go and spend some money and have some fun. For the rest of history, the summer of 2026 will be known as the summer of Kev. I know I said I didn't need any attacking midfielders, but I did sign Jadon Sancho, brought him back to Spurs for £130 million. He left to go to PSG last summer for 120. He was so important in my England team that I figured, as this Spurs team is effectively my England team, that I needed arguably the best player in that team. So Sancho is back, still only 26 years old as well. So just seems like an obvious signing. Obviously, Keith Crown left before I arrived to Manchester United. Sancho's effectively the replacement for Crown as the inside forward. And then we've also signed one of the best, probably the best, young centre-back in the world, Laszlo Banfalfi, 21-year-old German international who already has 42 caps for Germany, came through the Wolfsburg youth system and has been playing for them for 6 years already. He's 21. He's been playing regularly in the Bundesliga. Okay, that's not the Bundesliga. But since he was like 17, and he is comfortably the best defender that we've got at the club now. We spent £298 million. I'll show you what else we spent it on in a second. And of course, most active was me as well at Barnsley with 10 transfers there. But these are there's still potentially a couple of players leaving. Jamal Lewis, who is our third choice left back, could be on his way out, but he's going abroad. Same with Harry Winks, could well be on his way out. He's got interest from Ajax, Galatasaray, PSV. So although our transfer window is closed, those two players could still leave, but they're replaced already anyway. The defender, what's his face? The left back we don't need because we just don't need him. We've already got two very good left backs, two England international left backs in Sessegnon and the other fella whose name I forget. And Winks we don't need. We've got Catamol as our fifth choice central midfield player, the Colombian. So I did sell a few players. Davinson Sanchez went to Wolves. Didn't need him. Troy Parrott went to Napoli for £39.5 million. I know I said I should probably give him a go, but for a player who's never really got in our team, never really scored goals, £39.5 million was too good to turn down, especially when I saw Mason Greenwood was on the transfer list at Manchester United and could be picked up for just £16.75 million. Yes, he's not really played for them in the last year. That's why he didn't go to the World Cup, because he hadn't been playing in the Premier League. But he's theoretically a better striker than Harry Kane. Obviously young, English, only 24, meets all the club criteria. So he's come in as a direct swap for Troy Parrott in the squad, basically. And then we've signed a third striker as well, because we only had Kane and Greenwood, which is Orlando, a 21-year-old Brazilian, capped at under 20 level. He's a 4-star current ability striker as well. So another one who's almost as good as Harry Kane. It's just as we kind of panic signed Orlando when Parrott left, because Greenwood arrived and then immediately broke his leg. So he's going to be out for the first few months of the season. So we'll start things off with Kane as our starter and Orlando as backup. We also, in addition to all of those, signed the best young goalkeeper in the world, Francisco, 23-year-old Portuguese international, 12 caps for Portugal already. He's not quite ready to displace Jordan Pickford in the team yet, but will end up a leading goalkeeper in the Premier League and will eventually replace Pickford. So to bring him in for £44 million, yes, it's a lot of money, but he could be our goalkeeper for the next 10 or 15 years. Yes, we've spent £298 million, but we did bring in £181 million. So it's not a particularly remarkable summer looking back through. I mean, we did this in the first England episode, seeing just how much money Tottenham spend and also bring in. Must be the busiest team transfer-wise in the entire save so far. But I think that's a really positive summer. After the disappointment of losing Keith Crown, I think Sancho coming back immediately puts fans' minds at ease there. Yes, Crown's gone, but Sancho's in. It's pretty effectively like for like. And then it's just improvements throughout the squad. Greenwood, massive improvement on Parrott. Orlando fills a gap the squad didn't have. There wasn't a third choice striker. I guess you could argue Greenwood and Orlando Greenwood, Orlando and Sancho combined sort of replace Crown and Parrott, because Crown could play up front as well as out on the wing, whereas Sancho not so much. So we've now got the 3 strikers. We've got the replacement inside forward. Banfalfi, much better than Sanchez. We also loaned out one of our other reserve centre-backs as well. Marin Pogracic has been at the club for a little while, but he's left on loan. No one wanted to buy him, but we didn't need 5 Premier League level centre-backs. And Francisco is ready to step in and replace Jordan Pickford when the time comes. So I am super happy with that as a squad. Squad depth might be the most depth I've ever had in a squad in Football Manager. And with so many of them being English, it's mad. This is going to be absolutely mad. And you'll see just how mad tomorrow when we play our first couple of games of the season against Reading and Newcastle. If you've enjoyed that as an opening part of the Spurs adventure, part of Non-League to Legend, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on the video. Remember, we're trying to get to 3,000 likes on this video. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.